Hi, welcome back to Warno. Today I'll be using the East German 7th Panzerdivision up against the US 24th Infantry Mechanized Division. And this is another armored division on Deathrow, but on the pack side. So to start off with, I've got my Special Forces. They have a sniper and AT launcher, Special Forces trait, shock, airborne, and GSR. So really good for providing vision. And then I've also got the cheaper scouts as well. So they'll be heading up into this building here and these two buildings here. For my main force on the left, I've got a AA unit to deal with any aircraft that's going to be hiding in the back. I've got my command vehicle along with some Mutschützen and Pioneers, Iglers and Konkers, along with a T-55A. So just a cheap tank, but quite useful at supporting the infantry. Again, on the side, basically just mimicking with the Igler and Konker, Mutschützen, Pioneer, T-55, and then again Igler and Konkers. So they'll all be heading up into these positions here and then over here, along with the tanks in the back. So we shall get started. Now this early game is going to be a little bit quiet. Not as quiet as last game where there was a lot of artillery in the beginning. But my opponent does prefer to hang back. Since he's using a mechanized battle group, I guess that does make sense, because he does rely on the Bradley IFEs with a movement speed of only... Oh, I can't actually see the vehicle. Here we go. So with 79 k's on road, whereas my trucks are moving at 100 k's. So I'm always going to get to the objectives before him, but then he will have a support vehicle. So whereas I have kind of pushed for the middle of the objective, he's quite happy just hanging back on the edge of the back of the objective. He's got a lot of recon units to try and see what's going on. So it's not a bad strategy. He did the same thing in our last game, so I was kind of assuming he would do something similar. So I felt pretty confident just moving up my units. I also have been trying to remember to turn my radars off. I had a previous game to this where my opponent sent in a seed like as soon as the game started, and he knocked out my cub straight away. So when you do deploy, always remember to turn this off, since you're not going to need it straight away unless you're expecting a fighter to appear, if you've got a lot of like halos or something like that. But generally speaking, they are going to bring seed in to try and counter your AA batteries, so making sure to turn it off and only turn it on when you know it's safe to. You can basically hotkey these and then just press H, I believe, turns it on and off. I normally just click it though, so that works too. Over here I do bring up the guys from the forest, but they get taken out by these F-15s with their laser guided bombs. Now these are a pretty expensive plane as well, at 315, so it seems a bit of overkill bringing up 2 of them. But they are really good, and they have quite a decent survivability, so it's not a complete waste of points. Bringing up my T-72MK into the back end. I like to have 2 leaders on this map, because you lose one and then they start ticking for a +3, so making sure that you've got at least 2, so if one goes down you've got time to bring up a replacement of all the spares, still keeping that neutral. It's also good when you're using armor to hang it back and bringing it up only when you're actually making your push. Like this one here, he was hanging back here. Once I pushed the infantry forward into this bush, he came forward, but unfortunately they got taken out by the planes. Now I probably could have just pulled him back, but because I have no other infantry here, he's kind of my only defense if he does start moving forward. Water coming in with some shells. I did see this fire team over here, so I'm going to try and make it a little bit easier on our men. I've brought up a AT vehicle as well. I'm going to try and deal with any of those Bradleys that he keeps popping up over the hill. I'm going to pull those guys back. Ooh, gets down to 1 health. Here's his seed aircraft, so I do turn off the AA and knock it out with my MiG. Oh, nearly gets a double. Does go down, but I took out the seed, which was what I was really aiming for. Considering these were only 165 cost. Meanwhile, back down on the ground. My pioneers do get across, but just be careful of the Bradley. Reinforcements coming in. We did manage to get that 1 man out. And we have to replace our recon special forces that got taken out by the laser guided bomb. Over on the right, I've brought up some more reinforcements as well. Cluster coming in for the Bradley. I was convinced that his control vehicle was somewhere back here, so I was hoping that cluster might actually take it out, but I wasn't lucky. Moving up the tanks now. Do have to be careful of these ITOs back here. Yeah, I'm going to be playing a bit of cat and mouse with the I2. But then I get distracted and I forget to reverse him. That was his last ATGM as well. So my other T-55A, he's going to move over to support this push. And now that I'm pretty safe from those ATGMs. But I'm going to run straight into an Abrams and a engineer squad, so definitely not ideal. It does bring up the Apache. Now I do make the mistake of trying to bring up my Strellas to deal with the Apache. Because he does have that Abrams in there, which I, for whatever reason, forgot. I just became focused on trying to get rid of this threat. And they both get taken out. My T-55A did get taken out, my second one's about to get taken out. Supply trucks come in now, so I've actually brought that what Schützen that was down to a single guy back up to full strength. And we've got some more reinforcements coming in. Thought the Abrams was still there, but he'd actually pulled back. And I'm kind of doing like a pincer attack where I'm attacking from the right and the left at the same time. Got my armor back here waiting to push forward. The other thing with the AA is you can turn it off to deal with seed, but you also need to remember to move it every time you shoot, because once you have that trail coming from the shot, your opponent will know where to aim their artillery next. So that's something to always be careful of, just to remember to just move it around. Otherwise you'll end up like this poor guy and just become a crater in the ground. So my T-72s did move up into this forest. Even does get out of there. But they weren't close enough to start taking shots at the Abram, leaving my men completely exposed, which is a bit unfortunate. Over on the right, his engineers do take out one of my pioneers, but the Mordschützen going to finish them off. I'm just bringing up the T-55A to provide supporting fire. Did manage to pull back one of the T-72s, so he's just gonna resupply. Meanwhile, this guy is just cleaning up whatever's left in the forest, since he doesn't have any actual ATGMs. Oh, he does have this one here, because he's just trying to find a vision of it now. Goes down, and one of my MiGs goes down. I think I did take out his laser guided bomb though, the F-16, so definitely a good trade there. So now I'm starting to bring up my mechanized units. I've got 6 of these BMP-1Ps, oh sorry, 4. I've accidentally selected my Mordschützen over here. They're just moving to these houses, so they're basically going to cover the right flank while these guys push into the center again. Just going to unload back here. You don't want to get too close. There's another one of my cubs going down. Oh no, I moved him. These guys have a tank gun, the ATGMs, and a heavy machine gun. And they'll be able to provide fire support for my Mordschützen. Problem is their rockets only deal 18 damage. And the Abrams have 18 frontal, so they're only going to do 1 damage, or somewhere around there, like 1 or 2 damage per shot. Unfortunately, we do lose that engagement again. But I'm building a bit of a force up here to see if I can push back into this forest. A bit of friendly fire going on. Ooh. Second seat does get away. And he actually did have 2 strike eagles there, so I don't think I took out either of his LMGs. No. GMs, I guess. I'm going to try to get close to get my satchels off. There we go. So we managed to get back into the forest. Over here, he somehow keeps us alive. Now, it's actually he actually managed to convince me that there is no command vehicle over here. Because I got all the way to the edge and couldn't find it. So I'll actually start diverting my attacks over onto just the right side next. Pioneers are going to go down. You'll see that these units were deployed over to the left, but I will be moving them over to the right later on. So I'm starting to invest a little bit in my artillery now. My opponent's been doing a great job of taking out a lot of my units with his artillery. And yeah, you can see me just moving all my units over to the right now. There's more reinforcements in the back there. I've also brought up 2 of these guys. So they're the multiple rocket launchers. They do a pretty good job of clearing out the forest. It does have a tow cobra in the back though, which is kind of frustrating, so I'm going to try and bring up the Estrella and the Igla. Gets one hit. And another. Nice. So we got out of ammo there. So we don't get to take any shots at those Yuis, but I don't think I had vision of them anyway. So again, just a reckless push to try and get into these bushlands here, but that's because I was still convinced that maybe there was a command vehicle there somewhere. And I basically realized that no. And I kind of was under the impression that maybe he's somewhere along here at this point, and I just missed him. So really I should have pulled all these guys back, but unfortunately they are going to stick around. helicopter's just doing absolute work. Does get shot down by the shrapnel though, but they took out a lot of squads there. Ooh, big hit there. My third heli goes down. So I still managed to keep a couple of units in here. And we've stopped his counter push over on the left, so we're still in a pretty decent position. Ooh, he just got into the forest. We're very exposed over on the left flank. First payload doesn't go off, but I've got a second one coming in. Down he goes. So finally got his command vehicle. Do lose our plane to it, but managed to take out his fighter. And now we just have to be aware that he's got quite a decent presence over on this left side. So I do bring up my T-72s to engage with them. And just as he begins to push, I'm going to set up a nice little ambush. So both my, well, I had 3 tanks, only one of them went down. Ooh, big hits from the Strike Eagles. Need to get away. So another little tank engagement over on the right side that we managed to win just by setting them up in this forest. Seed goes down. But there you have it. So 5,800 kills to 7,000 losses. So my opponent definitely got the kill ratio, but that's one of the only difficulties with always attacking, is that you are sacrificing a lot of units. But thank you for watching.